how she doesn't have any social skills, and that she's going to have a hard time finding a job because she doesn't know how to talk to people. Samantha stayed quiet, and I told her if she doesn't figure out how to talk to people and start talking to kids her own age, she's going to end up exactly like the graduate. She didn't say anything in the...
I feel like there's a situation where it's your daughter. That's partially your fault. You can't just imagine that they're just going to just switch up at 19. You got to be teaching that when they're a kid. Because their personality is defined by all those things that led up to it, and it seems as though that wasn't a part of it.
Welcome back again, y'all. Thank you for coming out. So we got another Am I the Asshole here, and it's about somebody telling their daughter to get some social skills.
Gotta get those skill points up.
Let's see what it is.
Am I the butthole for telling my daughter to learn some social skills and make friends her own age? I have a 19-year-old daughter, Samantha. Samantha doesn't have many friends. She rarely leaves the house except for school or work and never brings people over. She never stays late at school or tries to talk to anybody either. Part of it is because all she talks about is kids. She loves kids, works with kids, and is in school to work with kids, her dog, musicals, and baking. My other kids are the exact opposite. I get into arguments with them because they were never at home, but at least they had social lives, friends, and boyfriends. Sure, they got into trouble, but I'd rather that than Samantha never going out or talking to anybody. Samantha is in a math class with a professor that encourages the kids to work together and talk to each other. I thought this would be great for Samantha, and I was stoked when she said that she and some other people started a study group. Then she told me about the group. There's her, another 19-year-old girl, a 30-year-old man, a 35-year-old woman, and a 45-year-old woman. The worst part is that she mostly only talks to the 35 and 45-year-olds. We just went to a graduation party for a girl that's exactly like Samantha. The girl didn't know anybody at the party except for her sister and looked miserable the entire time. She talked to two people at the party, a girl close to her age who works a similar job to her and has a pet, so they talked about work, kids, and their pets, and a woman 15 years older than her who has a job very similar to what Samantha wants to do, and all they talked about was school and that future job. When we were driving home, we were talking about how sad it is that the graduate didn't know anyone at her own party, how she doesn't have any social skills, and that she's going to have a hard time finding a job because she doesn't know how to talk to people. Samantha stayed quiet, and I told her if she doesn't figure out how to talk to people and start talking to kids her own age, she's going to end up exactly like the graduate. She didn't say anything in the...
I feel like there's a situation where it's your daughter. That's partially your fault. You can't just to that they're just going to just switch up at 19. You got to be teaching that when they're a kid. Because their personality is defined by all those things that led up to it, and it seems as though that wasn't a part of it.
Well, I could also be a devil's advocate though, because he has, I believe he said 2 or 3 other kids. I
don't know if it's a he or she.
Yeah, but they have 2 or 3 other kids, and they said that they are all sociable within their own.
Yeah, but I'm not talking about how they, the way a parent is a different parent to each of their kids. So maybe they were prioritizing that for those people. Oh,
and you think
they didn't really let it on the youngest. They didn't really put that same pressure, and so the youngest kind of more of a homebody.
Yeah, fair.
That's a possibility.
The car, but when we got home, she packed a bag, got in the car, and went to my mother-in-law's house. My mother-in-law has always coddled her and told her there's nothing wrong with her when she's asked, and has gone so far as to yell at me, kick me out of her house, and even threatened to take me to court for money that my husband and I borrowed but never paid back when I...
Yet,
okay, so
turned out
looks
great.
Like, it's a mom that's talking.
Okay.
I did say that there probably is something wrong with her if she doesn't know how to talk to people like a normal person. My mother-in-law also blames me and my other kids for Samantha being the way she is. Samantha used to tell everyone everything when she was younger, and we used to make fun of her for it. Samantha's friends also preferred to hang out with my older daughter when she brought her friends over, but it's not my fault that her friends found my older daughter more interesting. Am I the butthole for telling her to learn social skills and talk to people? Uda, you basically said she needs to stop being who she is or she'll be a failure. Way to invalidate your kid.
This video is sponsored by the Torn Collection.
Torn to pieces, feeling like I'm split in two, just like me and you. Need to put this shit together, I can't find the screws. Need to find myself a woman that can be my muse. It's been a long, lonely road, now I need a different avenue. Hoping getting beaten up so much, this shit is black and blue. Niggas out here giving they 2 cents, don't know what I've been through. Women always treated me like nothing every single time that I pursue. Yeah, always always feeling conflicted because I never knew the consequence of dealing with women. Type of shit they really got me out here calling them bitches. Got me out here chasing love instead of chasing ambitions. See my heart start bleeding now, I think I need me some stitches. All that shit done turned just to me not feeling good enough. Now I'm out here smiling, trying to act like I don't give a fuck, but really I do give a fuck. These niggas probably think I'm nuts. Fuck it.
I think that as a parent, you need to take ownership for how your child becomes who they are.
I agree.
So if you see that your child is not able to socialize in the same way, then if that's something you're worried about, don't wait until it's a life or death situation. You gotta prioritize that when they're younger. If you're seeing that, why is it that your friends are coming and hanging out with your other siblings, they should be hanging out with you, then maybe you need to separate those times out so that they're able to define their own personality. And it's not just falling into whatever their siblings are on.
The other thing that I'm thinking about is the fact that it's not that they are not completely socializing, it's just they're socializing with individuals that are significantly older than them.
Because it seems as though they have all older siblings, so they're not really, maybe they're not able to relate with whatever is on their age level because they're so used to being with people who are older than them.
That's
by
fair.
general.
That's fair. Well, and that's where I come into, like, it's not the fact that they don't have social skills, it's just that they need to be more comfortable around people that are of their similar age or closer in age group.
But I don't even think that really affects. It affects maybe finding a job, but if it seems like they're capable of talking about work, they're capable of talking about school.
Yep.
So I think that it's more so the problem is not about them getting a job because they should be. It seems like they can do that fine. The problem is more though that they're just not going to have as rich of a social life.
Yeah.
But I think they're presenting that, and the parent is presenting that in a misleading way because if you're able to talk about your job, you should be fine in any interview.
Yeah, I think
you can talk about your cats or whatever other passions you have.
They necessarily don't communicate with people of their similar age because maybe people in their similar age are just talking about different things that they necessarily
aren't as interested in.
Exactly.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So for me, it's undefined whether or not they are the asshole. I think it's a conversation that needs to be had, but it's a conversation that should have been had when you first saw their personality, not now that you're seeing it in total isolation.
I would also argue that how are they having these discussions with their daughter? Because depending on how you're having these discussions with your daughter can also, I would say, also determine if you are an asshole or not. Because if you're doing it maybe in a way that is not really providing value so that they can understand how to be in these situations when you're also responsible for putting them in those situations so that they can develop those skills, it's like...
I think it's more, I don't think that there's a problem with the way that it was told. I just think it was told at a time where...
It was kind of late.
Yeah, it's a bit late to be saying, oh, now we need to develop social skills, but apparently you didn't mind it when they were leeching from the social exposure of their siblings. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So if you really want them to develop that, you should have been saying something earlier. In my opinion.
Undefined.
So make sure you guys like and subscribe to this. Be back at you
Back at you.
with some new content, and we'll see you guys later.
Appreciate you.